Hello adventurers, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're on a little bit of a different kind of adventure. We're outside of Fort Washakie, Wyoming, and we were kind of driving down the road earlier on our way to another adventure and ended up finding one of those brown signs that I just could not stop at. Now, at many of the places that I have been, one story has continued to play its way out, and that is the story of Lewis and Clark. Well, Fort Washakie has a special tie to that particular expedition. One particular person that was a part of the journey was Sacagawea, and I wanted to make sure that I stopped by because we are in the presence of Sacagawea's gravesite, and I wanted to do just a short video to show you where this is, because I think that historically she has played a big part in many things that we might not understand she actually had a hand in. Now, also in town currently they are doing a powwow. Because of the culture, I don't want to go and disrespect that by filming it, so instead I just want to bring you a little piece of history and kind of bring to your awareness the res area out here. I think it's absolutely beautiful, and everyone that we have met in this area has been just so kind. So I wanted to pay my respects and also show you where this is. Now, this can be found on Roadside of America. Remember though, this is an active cemetery, so if you do come out and visit, to be very respectful. With that said, we're on the Sacagawea Trail, which takes you kind of on the outer lying area of the cemetery and back toward the monument, and then also to a statue. So here we go. Okay, so like I said, we're going to keep this super respectful. We're going to be short at the cemetery because this is an active cemetery and this is a Native American cemetery, so we want to respect their traditions and values, but at the same time they have allowed us to come here by placing this particular statue here, which is fabulous. Now, Sacagawea was a major part of history. In fact, she traveled along and was a guide for Lewis and Clark. If you go to many of the stops along the travel that they made, it will tell you that she was pivotal because she was a female Native American, and because of that it allowed them to get in good with some of the other natives as they would pass through the various areas. By doing so, they were able to get a little bit further along and have a little bit of trust built up. And even though some of the details of history are a bit vague and also don't necessarily always depict things in the best of light, she was an amazing human being who was able to do a lot of things that did ultimately help pave the way to the West. So we want to celebrate her. Okay, on the signs here you can see a little bit of the information. We have been to Fort Clatsop, and that's where we actually saw the main Lewis and Clark Center, and there you can find the end of the road for the trail. But if we work our way backwards, this is the path for which they took, and this was a treacherous path that went over many mountains. At one point in time they started out from this direction with a lot of supplies, ending up having to ditch most of those supplies as a result of having to go over these passes. At one point they even created their own hollowed out canoes to make it down the very harsh waters until they made it to here finally. And you can find the video about Fort Clatsop in my library if you're interested in a little bit more of that, but I'm hoping to eventually take more of the path to show you on the channel here. But there is a very nice timeline of events right here, and this is a registered historic site. If you are interested in exploring more of this story, there's so much to it, and there's even a little bit of a controversy. This particular site that we're at is listed as the official burial place. However, there is some history that you can find online. In fact, I was looking it up today when I found this, and it says that this might not be the place that she is actually buried. So whenever you're kind of looking through this, you can come here to pay your respects and also learn a little bit about history, but also keep an open mind and do some due diligence on the internet also. But for the time being, let's take one last look at that statue, because the story behind this woman was amazing as she helped them to navigate through the difficult terrains and also kind of formed a buffer between the people who were coming from the east and the native tribes kind of throughout the west. It's kind of impressive to see how much that the impact of one woman could have been. Now, the people in this area said that she lived to be 100 years old, and she eventually died of old age, and she was considered to be a medicine woman. So that's kind of the story behind this location. One more look, and then we're heading off to our next adventure.